I watched Troy fall not because its walls were weak, but because its men hesitated. The towers still stood. The gates were intact, yet the city was already dead. Inside the walls, the guards laughed. Wine touched the ground. Armor lay loose. They called it peace. I called it the pause before slaughter. Outside, the enemy did not shout. They did not rush. They waited. Because time is a weapon and Troy handed it to them willingly. I see this same failure carved into modern men. No spears at your gates. No fire in your streets. Only delay. Only denial. Only the lie of I'll deal with it later. Hear me now. Before the smoke rises, I did not return to inspire you. I returned because once the gates burn, there is no second warning. Smoke still clings to me, not the smoke of memory, but of consequence. I speak from a city that never truly stopped burning. Bronze melts slowly here. Stone remembers screams. And I did not rise from these ashes by accident. I am not a teacher. I am a witness. I stood on walls men believed would last forever. I heard confidence where vigilance should have lived. Troy did not fall to strength, it fell to delay. Remember that as you listen. If these words reach you, the siege has already begun, not with drums or banners, but with comfort, with endless noise, with the soft poison of later. Tell me, from where in the world do you stand guard today? Leave it below. A warrior should never be invisible. I speak now because modern men mistake silence for safety. Your city is your mind. Your gates are your habits. And every day you leave them unattended, the enemy learns their shape. If this warning sharpens something inside you, bind yourself to this watch. Subscribe. Stay. Because once the flames are visible, it is already too late to learn how to defend the walls. The first breach is never made by the enemy. It is made by the man who believes the wall no longer needs watching. In Troy, we trusted stone more than discipline. The walls had stood through years of blood and siege. They became a symbol, then or crutch. Men stopped scanning the horizon. They stopped listening for silence. Strength replaced awareness, and awareness is what keeps a city alive. When the horse appeared, it was not force that defeated us, it was interpretation. Some called it a gift. Others called it victory made visible. Only a few sensed danger, and their voices were drowned by celebration. The city chose the story it wanted, not the truth it needed. That was the error. We negotiated with doubt instead of acting on it. We delayed judgment. We postponed defense. In war, hesitation is not neutral. It favors the attacker every time. I see this same breach in modern men. The warning signs arrive early, quiet, unannounced. Fatigue that should demand rest becomes distraction. Loss of focus becomes normal. Decline becomes routine. The mind adapts to weakness and names it balance. Comfort is the modern horse. It arrives polished, convenient, and familiar. It promises relief while carrying decay inside. Men pull it through their gates willingly, convinced nothing dangerous could look so harmless. The enemy no longer needs ladders. He studies patience. He waits for patterns. He advances while the defender negotiates with himself. Every postponed decision widens the breach. Understand this clearly. The fall begins the moment vigilance is replaced by explanation. When you stop standing guard over your own thoughts, the city is already compromised. A city is not saved by hope. It is saved by structure, repetition, and men who obey their own commands. After Troy burned, I learned this truth too late. Walls are maintained daily, not when the enemy appears. Discipline is not a reaction, it is a posture. Those who wait for urgency have already surrendered initiative. To reinforce the gates, the first order is silence. Noise invites weakness. Endless input dulls the edge of the mind. A warrior who cannot sit with his own thoughts cannot defend them. Silence sharpens perception. It restores command over attention. The second order is routine, not motivation, not inspiration. Fixed hours, fixed rituals. Sleep at the same time. Wake before comfort. Train whether desire is present or absent. Consistency builds armor. No distraction can pierce. Resilience is forged through controlled hardship, cold mornings, heavy work, deliberate discomfort. The body learns endurance and the mind follows. What resists pressure becomes difficult to break under surprise. Guard your energy like a supply line. Waste it and the city starves. Spend it wisely and the walls grow thicker. Remove what drains without return. Strength is preserved through refusal. Order replaces chaos when decisions are made early. A gate opened once becomes easier to open again. A gate closed daily becomes habit. There is no neutrality. Every choice either fortifies or weakens the perimeter. Understand, the final principle iron, will is not aggression, it is control. It is the quiet certainty of a man who no longer debates with himself when action is required. There is no final victory. Any man who believes the war ends is already exposed. I have watched empires rise and rot from the same mistake. They believed peace was a destination. It is not. Peace is a condition that demands constant defense. The moment vigilance fades, decay begins its work. The mind is the first wall and the last to fall. Weapons change, enemies change. The battlefield remains internal. Every thought unguarded becomes a possible breach. Every habit unexamined becomes a weak stone. To stand watch is a choice made daily, not once, not when convenient. The sentinel does not ask if danger is likely. He assumes it is present and prepares accordingly. The modern man is taught to seek comfort, not command. He is encouraged to soften his edges, to negotiate with impulse, to delay confrontation with himself. This doctrine produces collapse disguised as balance. A warrior of the mind rejects this lie. He understands that clarity is forged through friction. He accepts solitude without resentment. He carries responsibility without complaint. Endurance is not passive. It is an active resistance against erosion. The sentinel remains when others drift. He maintains form when others dissolve into distraction. This is the eternal task, to guard what cannot be replaced, to protect the unseen, to remain awake while the world sleeps, believing the walls will hold without watch. Do not mistake this moment for safety. The absence of noise is not peace, it is preparation. Every city that fell believed it had more time than it did. You have been warned where others were not. Knowledge now binds you to responsibility. What you ignore from this point forward is no longer ignorance. IT is choice. The enemy will not announce himself. He will arrive through habit, through comfort, through the quiet permission you grant when discipline feels inconvenient. He needs no force if you provide access. I will not return to repeat this message. Ash does not speak twice. Bronze does not bend back into form. The moment demands action, not reflection. Stand your watch, cut the noise, harden the routine, close your gates, steel your soul.